Eyes up, Guardians. Pulse rifles have been around since the early days of Destiny, and they've expanded to other burns such as Strand and Stasis. But two weapons from the original Destiny game have returned, Outbreak and the Red Death. Welcome to the new Exotics Clash series, where I pit two similar armaments together. Each exotic weapon is at the top of its game. One keeps you alive, but the other does an insane amount of damage. Which one will stack up? Outbreak Perfected is an excellent choice, especially once the catalyst is completed. It consistently proves to be a meta pick, is super reliable during raids and dungeons, and is in an incredible place in PvE with the 40% exotic primary buff. The Red Death Reformed is a new exotic, or should I say, reworked weapon in Destiny 2 that arrived with the ongoing Episode Echoes Season Pass. With that, we have a brand new catalyst for the weapon that players can use to enhance its stats and add additional perks. The enhanced stats and additional perks of Red Death Reformed will surely excite you and make you eager to explore its potential. Each weapon can be easily obtained and accessible through an exotic mission, and the other within the Season Pass. Outbreak Perfected is not just another weapon in Destiny 2, it's a game changer. Its versatility is unmatched, capable of handling any combat situation. Whether you're facing a horde of red bars, taking down powerful majors and mini-bosses, or focusing on a single target, Outbreak Perfected shines. Its low recoil, impressive range, and ability to excel in both crowd control and single-target DPS make it a standout weapon. No matter the challenge, Outbreak Perfected is always ready to deliver. Outbreak Perfected was always good. It was old and reliable. Are you short of ideas on what to run and want to mix things up? Outbreak was there, and you knew you could put the work in with it. It's not ideal for the Crucible. It feels outclassed in the same slot as the Messenger, which has a good role but could put work in PvP. Now, with the buff to exotic primaries in PvE during the Witch Queen expansion, and the buff to lightweight pulse rifles, of which Outbreak Perfected is, I can confidently say Outbreak is a solid contender for the universal best in slot for pulse rifles. Some of the best central, elite boss damage of any primary weapon, exotic or not, a monster at ad clearing, and an all-around great option in PvE. In PvP, where lightweight pulses aren't in an excellent spot for a long time, it is best in a slot for this archetype. Bad Juju might have the neutral game advantage with both ability and supercharge on kills and rampage stacks, but nothing beats Outbreak's sound, feel, or punch. It sounds impressive. Zero recoil means it feels like a laser and can punch incredibly hard. The exotic perk, the corruption spreads, the weapon creates Siva nanite swarms on rapid hits and precision kills. Moreover, parasitism does more damage to enemies based on the number of Siva nanites that attach to them. The weapon was all the buzz during the early days of Destiny 2. It was the first of two secret missions provided by Bungie, which sadly never came back around, not until the Dual Destiny secret questline was released 1 week after the launch of the final shape. However, you can quickly obtain the weapon with the reintroduction of the exotic mission, 0 Hour. However, if you have the catalyst, the Outbreak Perfected will do even more damage over time. Once a weapon fueled by malice and murder, this kinetic pulse rifle has been transformed by solar light, giving it a new, clean appearance. Red Death retains its old power, further bolstered by Solar's newfound healing capabilities. Kill things to get Cure X2 and temporarily buff your reload to blistering speeds. Whether healing under fire in PvE or readying for another engagement in PvP, that recovery is beneficial. Reloading after a kill cures allies too, making this a viable healer weapon. It's in direct competition with the support frame auto rifle released this season, but its reliance on kills for AoE recovery instead of damage for targeted recovery sets it apart. Red Death's exotic trait, inverse relationship, turns this thing into a menace. Dealing damage makes it snappier, faster to move with, and more resistant to flinch. When at low health, its damage gets boosted. However, I don't know the specifics of this part, but it's a valuable benefit. With or without an inverse relationship, Red Death feels like a laser beam, with an 86 recoil direction and comparatively low 49 stability. putting in some real work. Finally, the Catalyst. While the Catalyst is locked behind Act 2 of Echoes, which is understandable but needs some content later, its effect is known to us. Charge the weapon with final blows, and once the gun is charged, the next kill triggers a healing burst on your location and drops a remnant that provides restoration to allies. This gun will only get better and its efficacy is only improved by your lethality. Red Death might lack the conventional damage buffs seen in other weapons, nor the versatility offered by a crafted no hesitation as a healing weapon. But what it does exceptionally well. It makes you not die, it makes your allies not die, and it makes the enemies die. The Cross of Healing is colored red, and its blessings ride on a crimson tide of death. Go and do harm. Outbreak is the very definition of a workhorse. It's not situational, overly flashy, or completely and utterly broken, but it is as reliable as a gun can get. You can never go wrong with an Outbreak Perfected at your side. It is a mandatory pickup from the Monument if you don't have it yet. Nothing else even comes close to how universally usable it is. It even has the Outlaw perk, which makes this weapon sort of a run-and-gun type of play. The Catalyst is a random activity drop to sweeten the deal. As before, it was locked behind the challenging 0-hour advanced difficulty. However, the weapon stands out even more now that you can craft the gun. Yet it is a grind. Yet don't count out the Red Death Reformed. The weapon heals you with every kill, and it boosts your reload. Not only that, when you take damage, its damage goes up, handling goes up, and flinch is reduced. This thing is feeling great. Running through a dungeon and nightfall, it felt great to use. However, the only downside to the weapon is the rate of fire, which sits at 340, whereas the Outbreak Perfected is currently 450 RPM. There will be times you will be killed before the gun exotic perk will activate, so solely relying on the weapon for survival isn't the wisest choice. The drawback of the Outbreak Perfected is that it is locked behind a difficult, exotic mission. You can't obtain it all alone if you aren't skilled enough as a single player. Additionally, obtaining the Catalyst is a random drop, and if you want to craft the weapon, you will need to grind 0-hour, which is off-putting to casual players. Even if you LFG 0-hour exotic mission, you aren't guaranteed that your teammates will be willing to carry an inexperienced player. However, not obtaining the weapon means you are missing out on this weapon's benefits. It lives up to its name, Outbreak Prime, but it's now well and truly been perfected. The Outbreak Perfected is a jack-of-all-trades weapon. It is excellent at boss damage and crowd control, which is a plus in raids and dungeons. However, being locked behind a difficult mission might make the weapon more challenging to obtain and put it in a class of its own, as exotic pulse rifles go. Yet, with the Red Death Reformed, its easy accessibility is a plus, and it will keep you and your allies alive during any high-end activity. I can see this weapon becoming a new fan favorite. Also, the artifact's anti-barrier that caters to pulse rifles will make these weapons even more desirable. Who do you think won this clash? Was it the Red Death Reformed or the Outbreak Perfected? Both weapons are potent, but if I had to choose, it would be the Outbreak Perfected, as it is a beast of a gun that can be brought into any raid, dungeon, or expert lost sector. If you disagree, comment and let me know. Until next time, Guardians, this has been Cintar.